Good evening, City of Spartanburg. My name is Ford Daniels, and I am the Student Body President here at Spartanburg High School.
I am Ellen Fields, and I'm the Student Body Vice President at Spartanburg High School.
Dr. King's words will forever echo in the minds of Americans and people all around the world who hold true to his nonviolent action and strive for peace. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
As we gather here together as one, we remember and celebrate how Dr. King's life forever changed the United States of America and will continue to effect change for further equality in the fight for justice.
Much like how Dr. King battled for the civil rights of all minorities, our ancestors had to fight for what we now celebrate as MLK Day. It took a record 15 years for the holiday to be approved by Congress.
MLK Day is so much more than a holiday. It is a constant reminder that the battle for equality is not yet over, and that we have a duty to continue to strive towards this undeniable dream. Dr. King introduced the idea that one can exercise change through nonviolent means in the United States.
Civil protest is one of the most powerful forms of effecting change and continues to be used today. MLK Day is a symbol for unity. As we celebrate the 36th anniversary of the MLK Day Unity Celebration here in Spartanburg, let us use this opportunity to become closer as a community.
Together, we must strive to continue to pass the torch of the fight for equality to future generations. Dr. King is known for his revolutionary line, "I have a dream." Together, let's work to make his dream a reality.
And now, let the program begin. At this time, let's welcome to the stage the corporation singing Joyful, Joyful, arranged by Mervyn Warren.
Wanna be somebody, wanna go somewhere.
am pleased to welcome Spartanburg County District 7 Superintendent Jeff Stevens for the welcome.
Followed by Joaquin Fortson performing Rise Up.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Ellen and Ford. And as the guy behind me said, Barry White has nothing on Ford now. I said, I'll go with that. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff Stevens, and I am extremely proud to be the superintendent of Spartanburg School District 7. And on behalf of our Board of Trustees tonight, we would like to welcome you to the beautiful District 7 Fine Arts Center. Opportunities like this to bring our community together and bring you into District 7, that's exactly the vision that we had for this campus and facility moving forward. We are deeply honored to be here tonight and to have you here to celebrate the life and work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Our theme this year in Spartanburg School District 7 is I Belong in 7. We chose it for several different reasons, but most importantly because the single greatest strength of this school district is the sense of belonging, of being family, that enables us to make a difference in the lives of our students and the families we serve. I Belong reminds us that there is a place for every individual, for every talent, every ability, every dream, every background, and every perspective in School District 7. As you enter the Fine Arts Center this evening, you were greeted by our Forward Together sculpture out front. And if you did not see that, I hope you will take the opportunity to see it as you are leaving. And so I had a conversation with a young man outside who wanted to know what is the empty seat for. I said, if you'll give me about 3.5 minutes at the beginning of the program, I'll be sure to tell you what that seat is for. Because that entire sculpture was created for the entire community of Spartanburg. Commissioned by District 7 and gifted by the family of Don Bain, who chaired our Board of Trustees during the integration of Carver High School and the former Evans High School to create the Spartanburg High School that we know today. The Forward Together sculpture provides a unique opportunity to lift up District 7's history so that it will never be forgotten. It honors the struggles and successes that have shaped this entire community. And it summons new generations to find their place in our circle of humanity. It is part of the legacy of former District 7 Superintendent Dr. Russell Booker, who convened our students and Spartanburg community members to take part in its conception and naming. Created by Maria Kirby Smith, a prominent South Carolina sculptor, Forward Together is unlike any other piece of artwork in our Spartanburg community. It speaks to the integration of black and white students and to the weaving together of our two high schools by lifting District 7's history out of the pages of a book so our children can see what we've accomplished over time. It paints a vivid picture of the values we prize. Equally important, it calls new generations to further their commitment to building community. Each figure in the sculpture was inspired by students from decades past. One from Evans High School in 1930, one from Carver High School in 1938, one from Spartanburg High School in 1964, and yet another from our fully integrated Spartanburg High School of 1970. As these students' worlds come together within this circle, we recognize that our work is not done. And that is why an empty bench completes this circle. This bench is an invitation for each of us to take our place so that the circle will be complete. So there's the answer. The sculpture is an invitation. It is an invitation for you, and it is an invitation for me. And so I thank you for allowing me to share that story with you about the Forward Together sculpture. And thank you for the many ways that you, as a Spartanburg community, partner with all of our school districts to help to make sure that each child develops their unique talents and abilities. When we all work together, our collective efforts help them reach their full potential. With that, I say welcome, and I hope that you enjoy tonight's Unity celebration. Thank you.
Spartanburg for the MLK Scholarship presentation.
Followed by Melissa Early from the Chapman Cultural Center for the poster contest.
Next, with Cole Alverson from Spartanburg County Administrator for sponsor recognitions.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Marilyn Liang, and I'm with the City of Spartanburg. The Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Unity Celebration Scholarship is an annual opportunity to provide academic financial support to 2 current high school seniors that are also Spartanburg County residents. Each of the scholarships are $1,000 each, and they will be provided to the recipients to be applied to the higher learning institute of their choice. So to qualify, students provided a 500-word essay answering the following questions. As you all may see, the theme this year for the Unity Celebration is the need, the hope, and the desire for a beloved community. What do you feel is the most urgent need for our community? What do you hope to see change? And how do you desire to be a part of that change? I challenge you all to think through the same questions and how you'd answer them. A total of 10 of our Spartanburg youth submitted applications from various schools throughout the entire county. Students in their essays mentioned their desire to address things ranging from diversity and inclusion, housing and homelessness, corporate and community sector, multi-sector collaboration, mentorship, investment in mental health resources, intentionality in community service, and community empowerment. So as I sat down and read through these essays, I was amazed to see how our youth are internalizing, learning, and growing in their community. And this scholarship is just one opportunity of many. For our seniors, I hope you do your best this last year, and as MLK said, there is no gain without struggle. So without further ado, I present the winners of the 2023 Dr. Martin Luther King Unity Celebration Scholarship. Jameson Guy from Spartanburg High School, and Olivia Martin from High Point Academy. Congratulations. Thank you all so much for your time. Both of these students are hoping to go for a 4-year college afterwards, so congratulations again for attending this.
Poster contest. All students enrolled in grades K through 8 in Spartanburg County Schools were invited to contribute artwork in a countywide competition in which they were asked to express visually and aesthetically their understanding of Dr. King's mission and legacy as it relates to people of all races and ethnicities as we live and work together. The theme for this year's competition is the need, the hope, the desire for a beloved community. Prizes will be presented for first, second, and third place winners from each category and an overall winner. We have one student who is here with us tonight, but I do want to announce all of the names. In elementary school through kindergarten through 3rd grade, first place was Devin Rodriguez of Roebuck Elementary. Second was Victoria Bulletin of Fair Forest Elementary. Third place was Chandler Nash, Carlisle Foster's Grove Elementary. And then for 4th through 6th grade, first place was Raven Laban, R.P. Dawkins Middle School. Second place, Chase Tonneson, Andrew Mill Elementary. Third place, Keisha Davis, Boiling Springs Middle School. And then in 7th and 8th grade, first place was Victoria Udensky, R.P. Dawkins Middle School. Second place we have with us tonight, Eden Vanderplow. Eden, and finally, third place, Jeshina Futrell, Carver Middle School. And then there was an overall winner of the poster contest, and that was Victoria Udensky, R.P. Dawkins Middle School, 8th grade. Congratulations to all of you.
Good evening. At this time, I would like to recognize the sponsors for the 2023 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Unity Week celebration. Because of these sponsorships, through financial and in-kind support, the events, the beloved Community Luncheon, the beloved Community Workshop, Walk as One, and the Unity Celebration are made possible and free for everyone to attend. The sponsors include presenting sponsors of the City of Spartanburg and Spartanburg County, Justice for All supporters, BMW Manufacturing Company, LLC, Denny's, Spartanburg Housing, Spartanburg Regional Healthcare System, Spartanburg Water, and Walford College. The Peace Among Mankind supporter include 1073 Jams, Aetna Medicare Solutions, Bank of America, Billy Webster, Converse University, the Mary Black Foundation, Milliken and Company, Spartanburg Community College, the Spartanburg County Foundation, Spartanburg County Public Libraries, Spartanburg School District 7, United Way of the Piedmont, USC Upstate, William Barnett & Son LLC, and Barnett Development. The Equality of Opportunity supporters include Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Epsilon Beta Omega Chapter, First Baptist Spartanburg, Founders Federal Credit Union, the J.W. Woodland Funeral Home, Park National Bank, and the Johnson Group. And finally, the Spirit of Unity sponsors include Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated of Spartanburg, Beverly Benson Agency, LLC, the Edward Via College of Osteopathic Medicine, Inman Riverdale Foundation, King Family Funeral Home, Mount Moriah Baptist Church, New South, Oak Street Health, the Spartanburg County Democratic Party, and Sue Johnson. Please join me in a round of applause for all of our generous sponsors.
At this time, please join me in welcoming to the stage James Reese of Sounds of Diversity with an instrumental performance of Stand.
Followed by a special recognition by Kathy Hill from the City of Spartanburg.
I'm going to introduce this song. It's entitled Stand. I think about Dr. King. A lot of times he had to stand. Do it on the way, He stood on his father's word. He stood on his vision. He stood on his promises. He just stood. I understand what it means now. At the age of 80, I have to stand and keep standing.
city of Spartanburg. And so we have a special presentation. I'm going to read some of his bio. Mr. James A. Reese, a former South Carolina public school music educator, keeps pressing on with a passion to encourage and carry as many possible with him across the finish line. He came to Spartanburg in 1966 as a music educator, band director for the District 2 school system. Although the school name has changed, many of the band programs that he started over 50 years ago are still flourishing today. In addition to his career as a music educator, he played trombone in several professional bands and orchestras, both local and national. As a member of the Bohemian Motown Sound Orchestra, he toured with the Temptations, Stevie Wonder, Diane Ross, Smokey Robinson, and many more. Other bands and orchestras he played in afforded him the opportunity to perform with the Jackson 5, Teddy Pendergrass, Al Green, and James Brown. In 1985, he and his lovely wife, Joan, became members of Evangel Cathedral, and he began serving as a volunteer leader in the Music and Arts Department. After serving for 12 years, he was ordained in 1997 and hired as a full-time associate pastor. It is worthy to note that he started a music academy at Evangel and made it available to musicians of all ages throughout the upstate. This gave him an opportunity to mentor and add value to many individuals. Some of his students, this is a note that say that some of his students have gone on to become known worldwide. His tenure on the pastoral staff at Evangel Cathedral continued until July 2015 when Evangel Cathedral merged with Free Chapel. For several years, Minister Reese has served as a music director, writer, arranger for the annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Unity Celebration. This event features the unique 200-plus member Sound and Diversity Choir and Orchestra. In 2008, he was honored by the city of Spartanburg as Volunteer of the Year. As an author, he recently released a unique instrumental method book entitled Hot Grooves for Cool People, things I've learned along the way that will help you play better today. Additionally, Minister Reese recently released a professional 7-minute video entitled The Bus. This production contains a powerful message on perseverance and not giving up. An accomplished composer and arranger, his work has earned him recognition in the U.S., Europe, and Asia. Mr. Reese and his wife, Joni, are blessed with a daughter, 2 sons, and 2 grandsons. Lastly, he is a South Carolina State University alum and is pleased to inform you that he is an original member of the famous South Carolina State Marching 101. Nearly 16 years ago when I was part of a skit for a musical stage play, Dreamgirls. He worked with us to bring out the best with us. And we tell you, people that was in the Sounds of Diversity group, you know that he's no joke. So I decided to join the Sounds of Diversity choir that next year and was a member for several years. His patience and the ministry and his assistance would bring to each rehearsal will forever play a part in so many of our lives that have experienced it. So we thank you, Pastor Reese, for 36 years of your music ministry that you've brought to thousands and many more years to come. I personally thank you for being a friend, for being a mentor. I mean, just out of the blue, just calling me to give me words of encouragement. And I really do appreciate that. Tonight says Mr. James Reese, Director of Excellence. Thank you for 36 years of leadership of the Sounds of Diversity Choir and Orchestra from the city of Spartanburg.
And now, presenting the MLK Award for Humanitarian Excellence, please join me in welcoming to the stage Assistant City Manager Mitch Kennedy, followed by the Honorable Jerome Rice, Mayor of Spartanburg.
Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. Maya Angelou. Well, Spartanburg, we now know better. In 2020, Spartanburg City Council voted unanimously to approve a resolution apologizing for racial injustices and long-standing inequities. That resulted from decades of local, social, environmental, economic, and criminal justice policies, practices, and investments that created a legacy of deep disparities, harm, and mistrust among communities of color in Spartanburg. The resolution cites the city's deep resolve to promote racial equity, inclusion, and diversity in all aspects of city government. And its passage provided a new framework and focus to Spartanburg's racial equity efforts. Our community efforts related to racial equity began long before 2020. Through this celebration, we have recognized nonprofit organizations and businesses with the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Humanitarian Award for the last 20+ years. Tonight, after a 2-year absence, the city will present 4 outstanding individuals with the Dr. King Humanitarian Award. These 4 individuals have a combined 40+ years of official service in the Spartanburg community and have set an example of being a humanitarian, having concern for or helping to improve the welfare and happiness of people. John C. Miller, retired Chief Executive Officer, joined Denny's as a Chief Executive Officer in 2011. With over 30 years of experience in the restaurant operations and management, John currently serves on the Denny's board. During his 11 years leading Denny's, John C. Miller gave the company slogan, "America's Diner is always open." A new meaning when it comes to supporting and promoting diversity and inclusiveness in Spartanburg. Indeed, Denny's is always open for Spartanburg. Our city has had no stronger corporate partner when it comes to ensuring that our city is a welcoming place for all. Over Miller's legacy and tenure, Denny's has been a corporate leader in investing in our local community. Denny's has been a major sponsor with the Habitat for Humanity, served as a corporate sponsor for the renovations of Stewart Park in the Highland community, facilitated the creation of a new public playground on their private property on their downtown campus. They've generously supported the annual International Festival and has served as a long-standing major sponsor of our annual Unity Week celebrations. In 2017, Jay, under John's leadership, Denny's created a national mobile relief initiative, a tractor trailer that is equipped to travel across this country to serve meals to communities in need during a tragedy. Prior to today, that effort has served over 98,000 meals across America. Today, I'm proud to announce that same initiative served 750 meals this morning in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Paige Stevenson, CEO of United Way of the Piedmont States. John Miller has a true servant's heart for the community. He has always been willing to be visible and a vocal leader advocating for community investment and involvement. He walks the talk. The former Denny's CEO, John Miller's passion for service and igniting change is inspiring for all of us. The city of Spartanburg is a place we call home as our headquarters, and we love being a part of this community. I am honored to continue to lead the organization and build upon John's legacy. Denny's current Chief Executive Officer, Kelly Balad. Well, my personal favorite moment about John Miller was when he served as a keynote speaker for our MLK Unity Breakfast in 2020. John, come out here for a second. John was the keynote. He shared a story about working as a general manager of a restaurant He stopped by that restaurant and was stricken by the presence of an employee working there. He told the story. He approached the manager and he asked, "Do you see Ken out front?" I'm giving him the name Ken. I don't remember his name. He said, "Do you see Ken out front?" The manager says, "Yes." So John asked him again, "No, do you see him?" The manager again states, "Yes, I see him." John says, "How can you see him and not notices that he needs a shirt? He needs a new pair of pants. He needs new shoes. How can you see him and not have a desire to do something?" John, we thank you for seeing the Spartanburg community, and we thank you for your service for our city. John Miller. Catch myself there, too. John, the city of Spartanburg is proud to present you with the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. 2023 Humanitarian Award.
So I know you know this, but having lived in lots of different cities and built restaurants in 40 countries around the world, this city is very, very special. It is a city of love. I've never seen anything like it. And wouldn't it be wonderful if more cities around the world taught how important love is at a very young age in their public school system? And my team would be disappointed if I didn't do a poem so really fast. This is borrowing heavily from Scripture, but I put rhymes to everything. Love is patient, and love is kind. May others be first and always in mind. It does not envy, it does not boast, rather focused on serving and giving the most. It is neither proud nor dishonoring of others, for all of us truly are sisters and brothers. It is not self-seeking or easy to anger, keeps no record of wrongs for family or stranger. In anything evil, love does not delight, but rejoices with the truth, the way, and the light. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and lends helping hands when down on the ropes. Love never fails, and love yet perseveres, hence the care for the weary for millennial years. But one day all teaching surely will cease, bold speaking silence, no knowledge to increase. It will all surely pass, the journey finally complete, when we all turn face to face with virtue replete. Not a child's understanding, but a gift from above, as these three endure, they are faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love, and that's what Spartanburg is all about. Thank you.
And it is also my pleasure at this time to introduce our mayor, Jerome Rice Jr., as he takes time to celebrate the legacy of three amazing men in our community. Jerome Rice, Mayor, City of Spartanburg.
Thank you, Mitch. Good evening. Good evening. And welcome to our 36th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Unity Week celebration. As the mayor of Spartanburg, when I was elected, I didn't have a job description, didn't really know of a blueprint as to what it meant to be the mayor, or what my responsibilities to be the mayor was. But I have the unique opportunity to talk to three gentlemen that have walked in these shoes long before I have. Not many mayors across America has that. I have three friends that are the mayor of Spartanburg. And I think that is an outstanding accomplishment. So at this time, I have the unique honor of honoring each of those men for their service to our community. And it goes in order of their terms and when they serve. So I will start with Mayor James Talley. Being a native of Spartanburg, I do have unique stories for each and every one of the gentlemen I will read off and award the humanitarian award. And one thing I like to say about Mayor Talley, and you have to stay with me, I remember Mayor Talley when he didn't have his shirt on. Mayor Talley was my lifeguard at Brotherhood and Center when we used to go swimming. So just remember that. And thinking of Dr. King's pastime was swimming. But Mayor Talley, a native of Spartanburg, U.S. Navy veteran, educator, football coach, and the city of Spartanburg first black mayor. The Honorable James E. Talley is a towering figure in the history of our community. After returning home from his naval service and teaching at his alma mater, Carver High School, starting in 1968, Talley was among the first teachers to move to the newly integrated Spartanburg High School in 1971, where he would remain as a math teacher and football coach until he retired in 1993. A couple other things I've learned along the way about Mayor Talley, and this is me ad-libbing a little bit. Mayor Talley was our first head coach, first black head coach at Spartanburg High School. I just wanted to get that correct. I made a mistake a little while ago, but he was our first black head coach of a major sport here at Spartanburg High School. That was the same year he became mayor after he retired at Spartanburg, moving into the position from his seat as mayor pro tem following the resignation of then Mayor Bob Robert. He then ran for the seat and won his first 4-year term in a landslide later that year, capturing 75% of the votes. He was reelected again in 1997. The nearly 9-year service as mayor were critical for laying the groundwork of much of the economic development and downtown revitalization progress we see today. After years of disinvestment, deterioration of the downtown began to see new attention and investment, including the construction of the county headquarters library on Church Street, where it still stands today. Talley also helped organize and mobilize Spartanburg around the issue of drug-related crimes, and under his leadership, the community developed its first broad-based efforts to better understand and address the underlying issues of poverty in our neighborhood. The echoes of efforts such as Stop the Violence, launched during Mayor Talley's tenure, can still be heard today in how we approach community building across Spartanburg. But James Talley's legacy descends the many groundbreaking initiatives and committee Talley led during what was a period of transition, a period of time when Spartanburg needs significantly outweighed its resources. Mayor Talley's greatest legacy is the number of people, especially young people, in our historically black neighborhoods he touched and inspired as a teacher, as a coach, and finally as a political leader. Many of our children in Spartanburg saw in Talley an upbringing that mirror their own. Raised by his grandmother in subsidized housing, importantly, they also saw Talley, the power of hope and possibility. A child of the projects who became our mayor, and both a foundation setter and a bridge builder for the entire community. It sounds like something from a movie, but the story, like the man and the change he inspired, is real. James Talley. As I stated earlier, I know something about each and every one of these men that I will recognize. Bill Burnett. Frantically, Bill, the last couple of days I've been looking for a letter, postcard that you wrote to me in 2008 is when I was elected to city council. I still have that postcard somewhere, but Shay and I cannot find it. But that's what you do to friends, just to congratulate them on accomplishments. That's what you do. Write them a personal handwritten letter that I keep to this day from Bill Burnett, Mayor Bill Burnett. One of Spartanburg's most respected and impactful business leaders, Bill Burnett was a reluctant politician, but being elected mayor in 2001, he served 2 terms that ranked him among the most consequential in our city's history. During his time in office, Burnett galvanized broad-based support from downtown revitalization, community beautification, and new neighborhood investment that helped improve the daily lives of residents. A number of new corporate citizen established offices in downtown Spartanburg during his time, and their investment and employees began to create a critical mass and level of activity that would inspire a wave of business moving downtown that is ongoing today. A major milestone was the completion of the completion and the opening of the Marriott Hotel on Church Street, which opened during his first term in office after years of planning and uncertainty. The Marriott Hotel and Conference Center and the library has served as a critical bookends of downtown important Church Street corridor in the years since. But it wasn't just downtown that saw a big change during the time as mayor for Bill Burnett. The C.C. Woodson Community Center opened in the final year of its tenure, providing an important community gathering place for recreation, social activities, and youth programs, as well as a linchpin for future investment and development in the historic South Side. And just as Mayor Talley built cross-cultural bridges and inspired legions of young people, Burnett provided leadership that is not so easily measured by bullet pinpoints on a resume or a project on a spreadsheet. The confidence he inspired in business and philanthropy in the philanthropic community and among his colleagues and fellow council members elevated Spartanburg in a myriad of ways. And those inroads are materializing in ways that are still taking shape today. Perhaps most noticeably, after he had left office, he was asked by his successor, Mayor Julie White, to lead the city and his partnering comprehensive effort on the North Side. Mayor White said that Bill was the best person for the job. Indeed, Mayor Burnett's combination and people purpose and ability to build trust and deeply and develop partnerships, and in his talents for articulating a vision and motivating people to join the effort. And all of those qualities made him the best person for the job, a fact that remains as true today as it was then. Bill Burnett. Mayor Julie White. Mayor White and I go back quite a ways. I know a couple of friends that personally benefited from his generosity. They always say Mayor White will give you a second chance. Mayor White have given a lot of men or a lot of people second chance, a third chance, or even a fourth chance. Mayor White, I do remember some of our times. He was my mayor when I was a city council representative, and he would lean over after he get tired of hearing a little bit too much from Chris at a council meeting. And he would tell me, make a motion, make a motion. But those are some of the lighter sides. But as you will hear, Mayor White is a unique individual. 4, he was Gaffney's student body president. Go figure. Mayor Junie White, the only 3-term mayor in Spartanburg history, Junie White was effectively known as the People's Mayor. The People's Mayor. The son of a sharecropper, Junie White was like James Talent, a Navy veteran who returned to Spartanburg after his service and through perseverance and hard work built a successful career and reputation for honesty and dedication and dedicated service to the people and the community. A longtime owner of White's Exxon, it has been said that if you lived in Spartanburg during the 70s, 80s, or 90s, chances are you were picked up stranded on the side of the road at least once by Mayor White. Under his leadership and stewardship, the seed was laid by Mayor Talley and Burnett, began to blossom, and then some. While he was mayor, the city saw historic levels of downtown investment and downtown business openings. The North Side Initiative was fully launched and came into shape, focused during the time as well, with development such as Harvest Park, the Brawley Street Model Block, and the new Dr. T.K. Gregg Community Center coming out of the ground. The levels of cooperation and partnership between the city, county, and other local organizations, businesses, and nonprofit also strengthened during Mayor White's tenure. These partnerships are driven much of our progress today and have direct impact on the lives of our residents. Crime in the city plummeted during Mayor White's tenure by as much as 75% in some neighborhoods. As Mayor White supported public safety professionally and pushed for them to have the training and tools they need to serve and to protect. As some of you know, Mayor White wasn't always quick to concede a point or tip his hand to people in position of power. But the average citizen or city worker always found a willing listening in Mayor White, who would champion their concerns and cause. In them, he saw himself. And in him, the people of this community, black, white, rich or poor, gay or straight, found someone they could believe in and trust. Indeed, all 3 of these men' legacy will be defined as much or more by their connection to the people of our community as by the connection to any particular project or development. They all carried into office a dedication and devotion to serving people, to moving Spartanburg closer to the ideal of a place where everyone can realize their potential and prosper. They all believe in the power of building and partnership. And they help us all embrace the idea that we have a shared responsibility to each other. And that when we work together to invest, not just in building, but in people, we all benefit. For all these reasons and more, I am proud to announce that James E. Talley, Bill Burnett, and Junie White, 3 beloved, highly respected former mayors who led our community with passion and purpose for a combined 29 years, and these years, this year, MFA, Humanitarian Award honorees, Mayor James E. Talley, Mayor Bill Burnett, and Mayor Junie White. This is a lovely night. And it brings to mind a lot of things, so I won't take long. I'll just tell you like I feel. Today is ours, so let's live it. Love is strong, let's give it. A song will help, let's sing it. Peace is near, let's bring it. The world is wrong, let's right it. The battle is hard, so let's fight it. Is faith asleep? Then let's wake it. For today is ours, so let's take it. Thank you.
I am deeply honored to share this honor with these two remarkable people. I'm so happy they described us as the former mayors, not the old mayors. But for anyone who's wondering, we are both old and former. But we're very honored to serve this community, and we're very honored to continue to serve Jerome Rice and his team, both those who are professional and those who are elected, to make this community everything it can be. So we'll continue to do that as well as we can, for as long as we can, and we hope everyone in this audience and many beyond will join us in making Spartanburg the greatest place to live. Thank you all very much.
Well, I guess I'm last. It's very usual for me being last. But you know, it gives me a great privilege to say that I'm proud to live in Spartanburg and be part of Spartanburg's community. It's been great for me and my family, and we thank you very much for this honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now please welcome to the stage the Honorable Dr. Sarah R. Simmons, Benedict College alumni, for the introduction of the speaker.
Followed by the keynote speaker, Dr. Roslyn Artis, President and CEO of Benedict College.
City of Spartanburg with acknowledgements.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. It's truly a great evening in South Carolina. Let's just say it's a great evening in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And the one reason why it is a great evening in Spartanburg, South Carolina, because we have here in this audience the 14th, first, and the finest female president in the 147th years history of the esteemed Benedict College. One of the fastest growing and most diverse college in the nation. I am honored to have been chosen to introduce our speaker for the 36th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Unity Celebration. Dr. Artis came to Benedict College from Florida Memorial University in Miami. where she served for 4 years as the 13th and first female president in that university of 138 years history. Dr. Artis is a graduate of Vanderbilt University, where she earned a doctorate in higher education, leadership, and policy. She also holds a Juris Doctorate from West Virginia University of Law and her Bachelor of Arts degree in political science from the sister HBCU, West Virginia State University. I can't begin to share with each of you all the accolades she deserves and all that she has accomplished since being the president of the distinguished Benedict College. I interviewed 10 people, and this is what I would like to share with you. What each of those 10 people said about this special speaker and why they think Benedict College is so successful now. The first little boy I interviewed, he said, "She's amazing." Okay. The second staff member I interviewed said, "She's transformative, building the culture of a school and maintaining the college accreditation." The third instructor says, "She has a heart for the students and the college." The next one said, "She's impressive, approachable." And then one little girl said, "She's visible. Did you see her when we got our first SIAC sports championship? She was one of our cheerleaders standing right beside us." And she said, "Did you see how excited she was when the band had the opportunity to be in the Macy's parade?" I said, "Yes." Then the professor told me, he said, "You know what? She's an advocate for the school. She's very intelligent, very influential. She's loved." And then the retired chaplain, Dr. Burgess, said, "She is truly a jewel here at Benedict College." And the word best of BC, which means she strives excellency. The speaker here this evening, our president, she did something very close that came to my heart and that really made me feel special when she and the Benedict College provided this focus, led our president and the college leadership to financially support students in every possible way during the COVID and that pandemic. After the campus closed and the students were forced to leave in 2020, many traveling to their hometowns, Benedict College, along with the leader, raised nearly $50,000 in less than 36 hours to purchase more than 120 airplane, train, and bus tickets for students. The money was also used to purchase luggage, provide cash for food for students, those students that had long layovers, and run a 24-hour shuttle service to airports in 3 states. Isn't that awesome? Why Benedict College endure? One reason why they endure is because she is an experienced president with a demonstrated history of working in the higher education industry, strong business development, professional skill in nonprofit organizations, conflict resolution, academic advising, instructional design, public speaking, mentor, and a lecturer. Just in Columbia, South Carolina, on September the 27th, the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame Foundation Incorporation, an organization organizing and recognizing and honoring distinguished alumni of historically black colleges and universities, this year chose to honor Benedict College President, our CEO, Dr. Roslyn Artis, and the Honorable I.S. Levy Johnson, and this was a ceremony in Atlanta, Georgia. I can't tell you all about her, but I'm going to give you just a few more highlights of her. Dr. Artis' leadership has been recognized locally and nationally. In 2018, she was named the female HBCU President of the Year by HBCU Digest. Along with that, in 2019, the HBC College of the Year, Benedict College, was named by HBCU Digest. In 2019, Dr. Artis was named to Diverse Issues in Higher Education as the top 35th leading woman in higher education for her leadership in navigating the unprecedented challenges of the country. Now, as I share this last one with you, in 2019, under her leadership at Benedict College, they were awarded the 2019 American Council on Education Fidelity Investment Award for the institutional transformation. This award recognizes institutions that have responded to higher education challenge, innovative, creative ways, and have achieved dramatic results in a short period of time. Well, as I stand this evening tonight, I stand here this evening to say, as a 50-year alumni of Benedict College, my anniversary is this year. Benedict was truly my foundation. It impacted my career and life and choices. I am grateful for Benedict College in Columbia, South Carolina. As our president, Dr. Artis, had her inauguration, I attended her breakfast, and she sat 2 tables down from me, but everybody was crowding her that day. Everybody crowded her, but I found out why. She is a proud member of the organization of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority. And I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, 50 years. But the greatest love that she showed me, as I was coming over to her table, she embraced me. And the greatest thing that made me feel so good that day until this evening, we are sisters. I ask God to continue to bless her as she continues to do the good works. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I would like to present the speaker for this occasion, Dr. Roslyn Artis, President and CEO of Benedict College, Columbia, South Carolina.
Trustees
50 students and 18,000 alumni of the HBCU that put the BC in HBCU. I bring you greetings. On this evening in Columbia, South Carolina, where Benedict is located, our community also gathers to pay tribute to the legacy of the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. His monumental legacy of peace, advocacy, love, and the advancement of our race guides us through today. Allow me to begin by congratulating all of the scholars who were awarded earlier this evening, and to all of the honorees, our distinguished mayors, congratulations and thank you for your service. It does not go unnoticed what our public servants contribute to our communities, to our lives, to our young people. We appreciate you and thank you for all of your many sacrifices. I would also like to express my appreciation to the members of the 36th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Unity Week celebration for inviting me to celebrate with you. You gave me a wonderful excuse to come back home. I woke up this morning in Florida giving a Martin Luther King Jr. breakfast this morning, and while I will concede that it was a little warmer there, my spirit is warmer here at home. I'm pleased to be back in the upstate where I know that Benedict College is exceedingly well represented. Please allow me a moment of personal privilege in asking all Benedict College alumni and friends to please stand and be recognized. And to that Dr. Simmons, who I will be taking with me on the road from now on. Introductions, thank you for your kindness and your warm heart. Finally, to all who have assembled here today, ministers, elected officials, change agents, educators, organizers, voters, leaders, legacy keepers, beloved children, sisters, and brothers, good evening. The theme for this year's celebration is entirely fitting for such a time as this, and truly resonates with me. The need, the hope, the desire for a beloved community. As a higher education leader at a historically Black college that was built for and mission-bound to serve the descendants of slaves, I strive to create a measure of the beloved community on our campus. I am guided in this effort by King's dream that his 4 children would live in a world that judged them not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I share King's desire for all of my students, and I take this responsibility very seriously. More broadly, King's dream is, in many respects, a North Star and a guide for those of us who are committed to bringing about the beloved community that we all need, hope for, and desire. It is a charge for all who seek to uplift all people, especially the disenfranchised. Recently, a person I've only just met referred to me as a race woman. Now, I was baffled by that for a moment. I didn't know if that was a compliment or not, but I thought about it. The definition of a race man or woman is a person who is unapologetically committed to Black empowerment. Simply stated, whether in the classroom, the boardroom, the courtroom, or even on occasion in the casino, I do tend to bet on Black. Therefore, to be referred to as a race woman is perhaps a compliment, and I'll take it. The fact is that African Americans in this country have been under siege from the moment we arrived on these shores. We need individuals who are race men and women, individuals who will commit their life's work to ensuring equal opportunity and access for all people, including those of African descent. Race people are necessary if we're to build a beloved community. Now, race people should not be confused with racist. You see, you don't have to be my color to be my kind. My kind are the kind who believe in, advocate for, and work diligently toward equity for all. A beloved community shows love, care, kindness, and respect to all people. However, in a country whose original sin was slavery,
and where systems have been intentionally designed to steal, kill, and destroy Black people, I view it as my sacred obligation, my divine duty to restore, heal, and educate Black children. Therefore, my unique role in the manifestation of King's Dream is to ensure that my children, those I've been privileged to give birth to, and those I am entrusted with as president of Benedict College, will be ready to take their place at the highest levels, educated, informed, confident, and strong, with a deep and abiding commitment to lifting as they climb. I believe that is all of our responsibility here today. It is the responsibility of the village to embrace our children and provide them with a full measure of dignity, freedom, opportunity, and joy. That is an entitlement in a beloved community. Our children need hope, desire, and deserve these things as a bare minimum. Martin Luther King Jr. was in many respects a prophet. He was the visionary behind what is arguably the greatest speech ever composed, I Have a Dream, delivered August 28, 1963, to over 250,000 civil rights supporters from the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. The speech was a defining moment in the American civil rights movement. As we all know, toward the end of the speech, King departed from his prepared text, partly at the behest of Mahalia Jackson. Tell them about the dream, Martin. Yes, it was a woman that ensured we all heard about the dream. Let's put a pin in that. It was Martin's dream to have a future with no laws promoting segregation or prohibiting the full participation in the bounty of the United States of America for anyone, regardless of their race, class, or sex. He dreamed of a nation without widespread, rampant voter suppression. He dreamed of a country that did not lead the world in incarcerating people of color, or a world power that failed to provide the basic needs of its citizens and instead demonstrates a disdain for people of color by depriving them of health care, fair housing, and even clean water. He dreamed of a country where your life circumstances are not dictated by your zip code, arguably the most important number you will ever be assigned, superseded your birth date and your social security number. Martin Luther King dreamed of an America where access to a quality education is a right, not a rarity, for all children. He dreamed of a beloved community. What a beautiful dream it was. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary dream is defined as a strongly desired goal or purpose, something that fully satisfies a wish. In many respects, the definition captures our theme for the day: the need, the hope, the desire for a beloved community. However, there's an alternate definition of the word that is equally relevant. A dream can also be defined as a state of mind marked by abstraction or release from reality. Who among us has the luxury of that? Short of a brief vacation, few of us can take a break from reality. Our reality, unfortunately, includes the internet, the dumb phone, blogs, text, tweets, and TikToks. Our reality includes 24-hour news cycles, often laced with sensationalism and colored by fringe views, seldom sustained by the facts. Our reality includes disproportionate unemployment, underfunded schools, violent, sexually explicit music, and a push toward permissive recreational drug use. Our reality includes school shootings and violence perpetuated by those employed to protect and serve. Our reality includes COVID-19 and a disproportionate impact on people of color and poor people. It also includes even an attack on the United States Capitol. If we ever needed to make progress toward a beloved community, it is now. Now, I know it would be easier to hit the snooze button, stay in bed, and keep having beautiful dreams about a future for our children. But that is not the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. King was about more than dreaming. He was about action. He was about advancing the civil rights movement through education, advocacy, and nonviolent resistance. Now is the time to follow his example and all those that worked with him to bring about the civil rights movement. You know, I am often asked as a president of a college whether I believe this period defined by the twin pandemics of COVID-19 and an unprecedented racial reckoning that was tripped off by the televised murder of George Floyd, and even this newfound interest in HBCUs. I'm asked whether that's a moment or a movement. The truth is, I don't have the answer. I simply don't know. But what I do know is that King and his contemporaries sparked a movement, and it gained momentum. And if we get complacent and take our foot off the accelerator, the movement will grind to a halt and become nothing more than a memory. We must keep moving, and like any good machine, including the human body, all of the parts must move in harmony one with another in the same direction if we are to achieve optimal performance. It will take all of us, the hand to work, the heart to love, the mind to lead, if we are to maintain the movement's momentum and push toward the beloved community that we all need, hope for, and desire. King once said that if you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But whatever you do, keep moving. We must keep moving. Now, some might argue that King's dream has been realized, that we now live in a beloved community. To be sure, much progress has been made, for which I am exceedingly grateful. Voting rights exist, segregation and redlining have been struck down. Many unjust laws have been overturned. We even had a black president. We currently enjoy a black female vice president. And lo and behold, the first African-American woman to serve on the Supreme Court of the United States of America. We have achieved the dream. If you believe that, then I have two words for you. Wake up. Wake up. Democracy is under attack. Poor people are under attack. HBCUs are under attack. And black women are most assuredly, no offense to them, under attack. The treatment of Michelle Obama, Kamala Harris, and Ketanji Brown, arguably among the most talented and well-educated black women of our time, reveals an insidious cross-pollination of racism and sexism that produces a cancer that threatens us all. And lest you think that is only limited to women in the public eye, again I would say, wake up. The attack on reproductive rights, voter suppression, critical race theory, and the outcry against the cancellation of student loan debt for the poorest Americans demonstrates that the cancer is spreading. If women cannot exercise dominion over their own bodies, if voters are deprived of the rights our ancestors died for, if our students cannot afford a college education, we are in grave danger and have much work yet to do. Moreover, if our children cannot be taught their own history, and if poverty persists, particularly in black and brown communities, we will not prosper as a nation. We will not achieve the dream of a beloved community. Now, on the matter of teaching our children, I feel particularly strong. Let me simply say, the truth of our history and the boundless contributions of African Americans in society are seldom amplified. Still worse, our children are lulled into believing that the atrocities of slavery and Jim Crow are largely overstated, or worse, exaggerated. Our children float untethered by the bonds of history and the responsibility to make manifest the dreams of their long-departed ancestors, many of whom died without ever experiencing formal education, earning a living wage, or casting a vote without fear of reprisals. This cannot continue if we are to achieve a beloved community. The historian and originator of Negro History Week, Carter G. Woodson, who hails from my home state of West Virginia, believed that appreciating a people's history was a prerequisite to equality. He wrote of the commemoration, quote, "If a race has no history, it has no worthwhile tradition. It becomes a negligible factor in the thought of the world. That is, no amount of legislation can grant you equality if a nation does not value you. We must teach our children whose they are and who they are." In my mind, our charge is clear. We must take ownership of our own history and ensure that our children are bequeathed the full measure of their legacy. We must never permit ourselves or our children to participate in downplaying the sacrifices of those who have gone before us. It should be considered the highest form of blasphemy. We must protect and preserve our own narrative. It is our responsibility and should never be delegated to others. As our friends at McDonald's say, African American history is 365 days. History teaches us that we're the guardians of our stories. I believe our nation's historically black colleges and universities are the living, breathing manifestation of the African American lived experience in this country. The black middle class was largely produced on the campuses of these venerable institutions. Our schools bear living witness to the fact that a thorough understanding of our own history leads to positive self-image, academic and social success, as well as professional and economic prosperity for people of color. These campuses, in my opinion, are the last remaining institutions of African American empowerment, excellence, and economic advancement. We are fortunate to have 8 such institutions in the state of South Carolina. And while I have a particular preference for the one that reps the purple and gold, I will say we must protect them all for our children and for generations to come. Being a part of a beloved community means preserving the institutions that sustained us while others closed their doors. The voices of our ancestors demand that we move with purpose and conviction to validate and fortify our children against a world that does not always recognize their unique gifts. A beloved community includes a full appreciation for the value of all people. Every child is a precious gift with unlimited potential to be a power for good in society. Our job is to make sure they know it and that they have enough respect for themselves and their ancestors to seize on every opportunity to pursue the best version of themselves. I am convinced that HBCUs are the most fertile ground within which to sow the seeds of this much-needed renaissance. They are the gathering places for Black intellectuals and the bright minds seeking to develop their full capacity. Surely, you did not invite an HBCU president to speak and not expect her to advocate for HBCU. If it is not clear to you by now, I believe in Black people. If we are to achieve Martin Luther King's dream and become a beloved community, the first thing we must do is wake up and get to work. The Bible says faith without works is dead. I believe dreams without work are destined to meet the same fate. We need hope, hope for, and desire a beloved community, but we must be willing to stop dreaming about it, wake up, and work together to achieve it. Merriam-Webster, thank you, defines awake as follows: to cease sleeping and become conscious or aware, to become active. Now, I know that none of you listens to any secular music. Most of you don't have a life BC before Christ took over everything in your heart. But you might remember that little ditty by Marvin Gaye that was a remake from Melvin and the Blue Notes that says, "Wake up everybody, no more sleeping in bed, no more backward thinking, time for thinking ahead. The world has changed so very much from what it used to be. There is so much hatred, war, and poverty. Wake up, all the teachers. Time to teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen to what you have to say. Because they're the ones who's coming up in a world, and the world is in their hands. When you teach the children, teach them the very best you can. Wake up. We have work to do. For those who are tempted to hit snooze and continue to simply dream about a more just society, I implore you to get out of bed, put on a cup of coffee, swing by Starbucks, whatever it is you have to do. We have work to do. It is hard work that transforms dreams into reality. We have to work like Septima and Diane. If we want to see a beloved community, now you're probably asking yourself right now, who are Septima and Diane? I know some people here know. These unsung heroines were among the hundreds of women who gave momentum to the movement. They were the dream keepers. They were the workers. Diane Nash was a former beauty pageant contestant who had the features of a doll, but that was not her claim to fame. This fiery HBCU student from Fisk University took over the command of the Freedom Rides in the spring of 1961 after the first Freedom Riders had been brutalized by mobs in Alabama. The 22-year-old Nash, a veteran of countless sit-ins and jail cells herself, dispatched students to Birmingham to take over where the first group of riders left off. She then oversaw successive waves of students who poured into the South to continue the rides. The revival of these rides succeeded in reinvigorating the civil rights crusade. Nash went on to lead the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Council, a role unheard of for a woman, and led efforts to support the Friendship 9 in Rock Hill, South Carolina, where she stood on the principle of jail, no bail, remaining in jail as a means of protest. And speaking of South Carolina, Septima Poinsett Clark, another HBCU graduate of none other than Benedict College, was a tough but motherly former teacher whose adult literacy and citizenship schools were the engine for the movement's voter registration work throughout the South. As a teacher in Charleston, South Carolina, Clark was fired from her teaching job because she refused to give up her membership in the NAACP. However, she continued her work with the Highlander folk schools and taught thousands of African Americans to read by using everyday materials like a Sears order form or a voter registration card. Septima Clark believed that by learning to read and registering to vote, Black people could assert their self-agency and collective power. She was brave, strong, and encouraged others to take a principled stand on the issue of racism. In fact, Rosa Parks studied under Septima Clark at the Highlander Folk Schools. But for Septima Clark, there would have been no Rosa Parks. Importantly, the Freedom Schools formed a backbone of the SCLC Southern Voter Empowerment Strategy. Diane and Septima dreamed like Martin. Diane and Septima worked to ensure that the generations after them would experience a beloved community. King understood the vital role that generals like Nash, referring to her as, quote, one of the most courageous soldiers in the Army for Justice, and that of Septima Clark, whom King referred to as the mother of the civil rights movement. In fact, Clark traveled with King and Coretta Scott King to receive the Nobel Prize, though until recently, no one knew her name. Her contributions have been recognized by the U.S. Mint in its Innovators and Inventors Coin Series, where Septima and her students are pictured on the face of the coin representing the state of South Carolina. Similarly, Diane Nash was recently received the Presidential Medal of Honor from President Joe Biden. These trailblazing women dreamed like King, and they worked to make his dream a reality. Now again, you didn't think you were going to invite an African-American woman HBCU president to speak who didn't amplify HBCU women graduates, did you? I didn't think so. We still need Diane and Septimus today, now more than ever. They were wide awake, or as the kids say, they were woke. And more importantly, they worked. Because that is what it will take to achieve a beloved community, and we're not quite there just yet. Although we no longer live in an era of segregation and mass lynchings, we have not crossed over into an idyllic post-racial era. A large segment of our community remains trapped in a vicious cycle of generational poverty. Systemic academic underachievement persists in many underfunded school districts, and an understandable resentment associated therewith. This brewing undercurrent and tension in many American cities will simply not pass. It will take intentional, purposeful strategies to address the root causes and to eradicate inequity. Our communities must dream like King, but work like the women I mentioned earlier. We can not simply need, hope for, and desire our beloved community. Rather, we have to commit to stronger families, accountable governments, equitable education, and economic parity. The fundamental question we must ask ourselves is this: do we have the collective moral will, intellectual capacity, and emotional commitment to strengthen our nation by making Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream of a beloved community a reality? Are we willing to sacrifice, double down, and commit ourselves to doing what is right? Are we willing to put in the work? Diane Nash could have relied on her beauty, married well, and lived comfortably. Septima Clark could have resigned her membership in the NAACP, retained her teaching job, and her pension. But both chose to set aside their own comforts for the sake of Martin's dream. Do we have the passion, fire, and commitment of these women? African Americans plainly still suffer prejudice across America, but that is not the only inequity that persists and threatens our beloved community. America's problem is increasingly one of class, of poverty, and we cannot be silent. We cannot stand idly by. We have the power to change hearts and minds of men by sharing the love of God and advocating for just laws that apply equally to every man, woman, boy, and girl. Poverty should not be a crime, nor should being born black, brown, or female. Note, I said laws should apply equally to every man, woman, boy, and girl. Women and girls must be included in the realization of the American dream, for they were surely a part of Dr. Martin Luther King's dream. Had it not been for the women of the movement, Diane, Septima, Dorothy, Daisy, Ella, Mary, Zernona, and on and on and on, there would have been no movement. We would not be, I would not be, standing here today. But for them, there would be no Michelle, no Kamala, and certainly no Ketanji. And while we're grateful, we have more work to do. We are living in a time when hate is popular, incivility is common. Social media has afforded those with divergent views a bully pulpit and a medium for spewing hateful rhetoric. We are unwilling to engage one another as humans rather than choosing to embrace the toxic cancel culture that allows us to simply unfriend or turn a blind eye to anyone or anything we deem unpleasant or unworthy of our attention. That is the opposite of the beloved community that we all desire. While many abhor violence, hate, inequity, and disenfranchisement, most choose silence, which can be interpreted as acquiescence. The solution to injustice is not silencing our voices, but raising them. Dr. King said, quote, "The ultimate measure of a man or woman is not where he stands in moments of convenience and comfort, but where he stands in times of challenge and controversy." We are living in a time of great challenge. Will you lift your voice? Will you take affirmative steps toward achieving our beloved community? Whether it's by sharing your own experiences, mentoring, supporting, guiding, teaching, or engaging, contacting your governmental representatives, expressing your feedback, participating in the process of equity and advancement for all. Raising our voices as citizens is the only way to silence the melody of prejudice and the refrain of mistrust and suspicion of one another. Through engagement and dialogue, temperance and love, we will move toward the beloved community that we seek. Always remember that as Americans, that which divides us will always pale against that which binds us as a people and as a nation. Nearly 10 years ago, on the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Martin Luther King Jr.'s son, Martin Luther King III, said, and I quote, "Polished marble can display the nobility of a great leader, but not the meaning of his ideas and contributions. Stone may be beautiful, but it is mute. It is up to all of us, every American, to give it voice. I am a voice. You are a voice." Septima was a voice. Diane was a voice. They were woke and they worked. On this day, as we pause to reflect on the legacy of Dr. King, remember the dream, embrace the dream, but for our children's sake, we have to work to make the dream a reality. Let us not forget that the dream is more than words and rhetoric. It is action and activism. Desiring a beloved community is good, but working toward that community is great. Let us move from good to great together. How do we honor Dr. King's legacy? How do we bring about our beloved community? We celebrate the dream, wake up, get out of bed, and go to work. We embrace his example by making room for everyone in the movement, recognizing a beloved community, that in a beloved community, everyone can be great because everyone can serve. That includes Septima, Diane, you, and me. A beloved community means helping someone else. It means loving one another unconditionally. A beloved community means serving a cause greater than yourself, as you have done this week as a part of this celebration. A beloved community is getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. A beloved community is within our reach if we're willing to wake up and work. To God be the glory for the dream, for the dreamer, and to God be the glory for the dreams yet to be realized. If we commit to dream like Martin and work like a woman, I believe the community we need, hope for, and desire is within our reach. We've got work to do. Our children are watching. I'm ready, and I know you are too. God bless you.
Dr. Artis, outstanding message this evening. I could only hear a little after I came backstage, but being woke is one. We all need to be race people. It's another. And making sure we're doing all we can for our HBCUs, and hopefully this is a movement and not just momentum at this particular time. But on behalf of the City of Spartanburg, my colleagues on the City Council, all of our sponsors, Dr. Artis, we would like to welcome you, Dr. Roslyn Artis, keynote speaker for the City of Spartanburg 36th Annual Martin Luther King Jr. Unity Celebration at Spartanburg High School. Our doors in Spartanburg are always open. If you just happen to find them locked, we want to present you with this key. Thank you.
And it really feels good being able to gather again and celebrate our Unity celebration as we've done before. Tonight concludes our week-long celebration of events. We've enjoyed a luncheon, Kindness Day with our senior citizens, our first beloved community workshop, a community breakfast, and a day of service. I want to thank Dr. Artis for joining us this evening and bringing forth a message for the community. Thank you to our emcees, Spartanburg High School seniors, Ford Daniels and Ellie Field. Directing this training. We appreciate it. City Manager Chris Story and Assistant City Manager Mitch Kennedy for the support for these events each year. And again, thank you to our sponsors, in which these events would not be possible without your generous contributions. We begin planning each year following the Unity celebration. So we've had 2 years this time to be able to plan this. And I want to thank the members of the MLK Advisory Committee for your assistance in putting all these events together. We started the first meeting with the notion of making this a true week of events, and we did just that. Everything that was planned was an indication of how we're working to see that beloved community come forth that Dr. King spoke so of. Our team members for the past 2 years have been Todd Stevens with Spartanburg County Library, Elisa Handelman with Wofford College, Jamar Brown with Earl J. Properties, Alex Moore and Lauren Hurstrand with United Way to Piedmont, Carrie Caldwell with Artist Guild, Jasmine Guest Connect Spartanburg, and our city team, Kim Moultrie and Marilyn Wynn, and on my office, the Community Relations Office team, Kinsley Aiken and Tia Bailey. And I want to thank you, the community and the neighborhoods and our friends, our churches and co-workers and so many more. You made this night amazing for our Unity Celebration events. As stated, Dr. King promoted the notion of the beloved community. He envisioned the beloved community as a society based on justice, equal opportunity, and love of one's fellow human beings, and a society in which all are embraced and none discriminated against. That's the need, the hope, and desire we have for the beloved community. Thank you for joining us. Safe travels